Welcome back to the channel where we are building a video game from scratch using Love2d and Lua. Yesterday we were working on getting these animatables inserted upon being drawn from the tiled application. So the idea is we draw the first frame of the animatable and then our game goes ahead and inserts them, and we almost got it working yesterday. The only thing is it is crashing when it's in the last column. And I think I figured out, I was like laying in bed at night and I think I figured out where we went wrong with the modulo operator. So if we take a look at our map declarations, okay, so this anim call starts at 1, which means by the time anim call is 10 mod 10 is 0. Is that correct? So that's where our 0 index is coming in at that last column. So I think that's the issue. So I think we have to start. I think we have to modify K. Well, it's weird because it's like. Yeah, actually, I don't know what would totally fix this. Let me see. K mod 9 plus 1. Yeah. See, I think that's the move. Because then by the time it's... Oh, well, not quite. Because it's once it's... That'll shift it to the right for most of them. Let's see what that does, because I think that'll shift it right for most of them. Or all of them. And then I think it wouldn't crash us, but it would... Yeah, it shifts them right. Well, that's way off. Wow, there's like, this is like a weird optical illusion where some aren't animating. That looks really strange. But it's not quite that. I think it's because 1 mod 10 would be 1. Hey, Big Boy Games, thank you for the raid. I appreciate it. Welcome in. Hey, thank you. I appreciate that. I think I just saw you on the Indie Game Dev team page, right? Hey, everyone. Hey, thank you for the follows. I appreciate it. Hey, Programmer Jeff. Good to see ya. Yeah, so we're building a kind of Zelda-style game, and we're working on the animatables right now. And we're trying to get the arithmetic working for the insertion of these animatable objects. And we're off... one of those off by 1 errors, right? So like we're trying to figure out why that wasn't it. We're trying to figure out why K mod 10 crashes us whenever we draw something in the rightmost column, because if we don't have anything in the rightmost column, I believe we don't crash. I hope you had a good stream, Big Boy Games. I'll have to check out your channel. I don't know if I've tuned into a stream of yours just yet, but I just shot you a follow. Also, I got to get better at doing the shout out. There we go. Thank you for the follows, everyone. Thank you. So yeah, we don't crash if we don't draw anything in the rightmost column. So the problem here, sorry. Hey, Ooga Booga. Ooga, go Booga. Thank you. Thank you for the chat. So right here, we're inserting these animatables at this anim row anim call. A divide by 0 crash, because that's how mod is calculated. So it's like if it's going through this map height and map width is going to be a table of 80. So this is what we're trying to do, where we want the column on the first 10 needs to be 1 through 10. The second 10 need to be 1 through 10. So like it needs to be 1 through 10 every row. And I think we've got the row correct and we've got the column correct, except for that it crashes if it's on a 10th column. So you're saying it's like a divide by 0 crash. K divided by 10 plus 1. You know, we thought that, and then that just shifted everything over by 1. It shifted everything over by 1. So like, see how the water is 1 shifted where it should be, and these are all 1 shifted where they should be. So it's like, that's the weird thing, is like the K mod 10 is the correct placement, but we need to not crash if 10 mod 10. So yeah, because 10 mod 10 would be 0, correct? So if it's 0, if this K, or if this anim call is 0, we need to reset it to 10. So I don't know if we would just say K mod 10 will be 0 to 9. Yeah, so we would need to start. Would that mean that we just, if the anim call is equal to 0, then we just make it 10 instead? I feel like there's a more succinct way to express that. Well, let's see. Well, so they're still rendering in the correct spot, but let's add something to that rightmost column and see if we crash. And let's add, we've got other animatables, we've got these flowers we can animate, so let's try putting those in there. What up, Falanir? Good to see you. Are you dividing by anim call? No, I think we're just inserting the animatable objects into the anim call. Let's see. Okay, we don't crash there. Because I think the problems with Lua being indexed at 1, whenever it hit that 10 mod 10, it was getting 0, and then it couldn't resolve a 0 index when it went into here. Because this insert anim takes in a row and column to draw a specific frame. So this water.frame is what I'm calling an anim spitter object, and it just spits out a frame of an animation, basically, over time. I feel like there's a more succinct way to express this, but this does do the trick. So like the cool thing with this is now in our tiled application, we can come in here and we can say, why don't we have a whole field of flowers, and then we have a whole field of these autumn flowers, and then we've also got water surrounding it like this. We can kind of draw it, and then all we have to do is do export as global map, and then we should be able to just play in that place we just drew with the animations going. And then our game is looking at the tile IDs. So all these water tiles, so like this water.frame of the anim spitter will be spitting out like 1024, 1025, 1026, and then loop back 1024, 1025. And those tile IDs are in a range of what I've declared as a collidable map object. So if it's water, we can't walk into it just yet. You know, I'm thinking about I want to add swimming into the game, but kind of like Link's Awakening, where you have to get the flippers in order to be able to swim. So it'll start off as not collidable. But this looks to be like our fixed thing from yesterday. So we used to, you guys, this used to be such a pain. Like we used to if we look in our map declarations, I think I commented them out. We literally used to just declare every single tile ID by the enum it stood for. So it would be like grass left edge, grass top edge, grass right edge, all 80 for each tile. But now we have it, or for each scene. But now we have it in this like one overworld map, and we can just draw them here, and it'll insert into our game wherever we drew it. So we're spawning right now at like this 7-3 or 7-2, and then we've got all this other stuff. So our game's about magic and spell casting and kind of achieving balance in the ecosystem. So there's these geckos and the hey Prosto, good to see you, dude. How's it going, man? I always forget, is it super early for you? It's super early for you, right? So Prosto, we are 4 a.m. Yeah, super early. We now have this tiled application that we're able to draw our sprites, and then we import them. You know, this will export a .lua, which gives us a table here of all the tile IDs, and then we're going to we cycle through and put them into our game. So now we have like much faster iteration for like doing some oh crap, another power outage. Sorry, dude. Well, at least you got power now, right? So you're gonna work on some stuff. Everyone check out Prosto's channel if you're into Lua programming, because he's making a really sick 3D game with Lua. So definitely check his stuff out. His stuff is really cool. He's helped me out on the channel quite a bit. Yeah, for Prosto's channel, I don't know if I can give a shout out. I've already given a shout out to the Raiders here, but if we do Prosto, there we go. Yeah, Prosto's got some great Lua programming. If you like what I do in this channel, he does this stuff on steroids, so he's really good. It's a good game. It's a good game, Prosto. Yeah, it's good. And he's got butterflies in his game, which we need to get butterflies in our game. He's got a whole bunch of stuff, though. That was just the most recent thing I've seen. So I think we're at the point now where we can... I'm going to turn off the health for the geckos so that they don't appear. And then I think we're just about ready to be able to record our channel trailer for Twitch here, because Twitch has been bugging me for one of those. So now that we have 4 panels of kind of presentable quality, I think we can make a little trailer. Now, I think it's in the entity walk state. That we're doing this health bar. Yeah, health bars. Let's just take these health bars off. And Prosto, maybe the I don't know what you're talking about, Prosto. What couldn't you achieve, man? You've got, dude, your game is wild. Your game is, I didn't know what you're doing was even remotely possible in Love. Or in yeah, it is Love, right? It is Love and Lua. I know it's at least Lua. Prosto, I wanted to get your eyes on something. It was from yesterday's stream when we were trying to insert these animatable functions, and I could not figure out what we did wrong. So this is the global map layers data. That's the table I just showed you that we export with tiled. So that's the 9,000 tiles for all of our global maps. And then I'm kind of manually keeping track of these values here. And then we have to insert them into the correct map and row as we cycle through. But I had a question about, we were trying to run this line here where we were trying to insert a function into this table, but I don't even know how to explain the problem, because it's like what we ended up doing was inserting them like this, using this animrow animcall, but we're doing the same thing. We're just table.insert into our animatables table, this function to be called later, and it's an insert anim function which has a row and column to put in animation as well as a frame for that animation to go. And when we were trying to insert whatever scene row or scene, like whatever this local variable was, we tried to plug in here and we kept crashing. And it wasn't until we tried to, I mean, I guess I could turn this back on and show you, because we were able to put, let's see. Nope. I don't know. It comes down to like the global nature of Lua's variables that I'm just misunderstanding. I don't know how to word it to you very good. So, yeah. No, first is defined. It's defined in another file completely as a global one. It's just one. So, yeah, bro. So hit me if you see something, because like we were like I put the first in there to just prove that we were able to pull global variables into there. And then what we really wanted to try to do is insert it into the scene row and scene call here, so that we could, I mean, we fixed it, but we have to loop through our map all over again, instead of when we were inserting the functions. So inserting the function and function using variable inside itself. Yeah, that's what was funky, and I could not figure out how to fix it, because we kind of pieced together whatnot helped me piece together that whatever value gets passed in right here, it doesn't stay that value. It just gets evaluated once the function's actually called. Closure mechanics. So yeah, and that's what was weird. I thought we would be able to put a local variable inside here and have it just live, but anytime that variable changed, it changed for all of the functions in here. So it functioned kind of globally. The value of this variable will be compiled in the moment when the function was called. Yeah. And then that's what I couldn't figure out, because we literally tried to just put, we tried to just like give ourselves like a local test variable and set it equal to 1. And then we tried to put that test variable in here, and then it still was crashing. But I can't even get it to work right now, so it's hard for me to demonstrate. I don't know where we went wrong with this. But I'll have to look up closure with Lua, because that was just really having me scratch my brain. But our solution was, once we have all the tile maps in our map, then we just go through and loop through all again and go to insert animatables here, based on the 3-dimensional array here, I guess. And that works fine. So it was kind of weird. It half worked, and then it was just really tricky to figure out. But we've at least got this. Now I think, now that we've got the gecko, oh great, what did we change? Yeah, we'll need to put our door back. The next step is to add the cabin door on a layer above our player. So right now it goes the map, and that's all the tile IDs that we just have. And then the player gets rendered in the scene on top of the map, because the player has to exist on top of both maps. So there's one current map, and then the scene holds a reference to the current map as well as the next map if we're transitioning. So as soon as we walk off screen like that, then the scene holds a .next map, and once we're done transitioning, then the next map becomes nil and the current map becomes what the next map was. So we need to render like a cabin door on top of our player. So after our scene, in our scene, probably after we render our player, we need to go through and render any tile that needs to be on top of the player. So I guess that would involve drawing the black background of what the door looks like, what inside the door looks like, and then drawing a transparent front of door to go be rendered on top of the character. Because right now we do have like collision detection for the door itself here, so you can walk in, but we would have to then come up with a trigger that triggers a scene change that pulls us into another map. Local func gets function itself. Local inner var gets your var. Okay, we did not do that. Thank you. I will look into that, and I will try to implement that at some point and see if we can get that method working. The func will be that inner function that will use the value of the inner value. Thank you, Prosto. I will save that, and I will do some tweaking with that. Oh, great. And it'll be preserved with closure. That's exactly what we want, Prosto. Thank you. Yeah, I will look into that. Let's do... Thanks, Prosto. I will check that out. Okay. Yeah, maybe we do go about trying to get this cabin rendering above ourselves, and then that would be a good last step before we record the channel trailer. So first things first, I want to draw a black background behind so like that's our top scene, but this is the scene that's actually rendering, and this isn't actually a black background, it's a transparent background, so we need to make a black background so that we can draw it, or we change the background color of our game. I like it as gray right now because it's easier to see. So what we'll do is we'll just add a completely black square. We'll just add it right in here. And then it won't look like we've done anything different, but we just placed a black square there. So now it should be a black square instead of the gray square. Sweet. So we've got black, and that's like, oh shoot, we drew it in the collidable map object range, which we need to not do. That's one of the issues. Like, I'm still trying to decide if I want collidable map objects based on tile ID or based on layers within tiled here. So I don't exactly know what we're gonna do there. But let's go ahead and export. We need a black tile not in this range. So anything with this red bar, any tile in this range of rows will be a collidable map object. So we'll just make it not in that row, and then we should be okay. what was Big Boy Games working on today? Kind of curious what's going on over there. You guys, do you have a nickname? Like, do you go by BBG or something? Okay, we've got the black, and we can walk in there now. Great. So the next step is to extract another layer from our tiled exports. So we could try this manually. There's not going to be all that many tiles that have this functionality, but we do need a way to be able to say where to if we look at where it's going to be rendered, it's going to be rendered in the third row and this 9th column. So 3, 9, but only in the 7.2 scene. So we need a way to keep track of all the tiled, what I call top level tile IDs. Top level meaning its render order is last, so that it would go above us. So ideally we would have something in tiled here where not that just open DaVinci Resolve. So we would make a new layer and we would call this top level for any tile that needs to be rendered above our player. And then we actually need to change our sprite so that it's actually transparent inside the doorway. Yeah, so this needs to be transparent. Where's that wand tool at? W for wand, great. Cool. Okay, so now that that's transparent, is this the first inside area being made? Yeah, Leva. This, technically we're not making the inside area just yet. This is just the entrance to the inside area. So it's like, we'll work on that as soon as we're done with the channel trailer, I think. And it'll be a lot like this. It'll be a lot like this. This is the overworld map, but then there's going to be a dungeon map that loads all the underworld stuff. So that'll also probably include all the cabins and all the huts or whatever we call it for the game. So it'll load it not based on the global map tile ID, but it'll load it on the dungeon scene ID, which we'll need to populate a lot like we're doing this one. But this will be the first inside parts. First non-overworld parts in the game. I need to draw this with this transparent. This might. I always need to reload tile to pull in that new sprite sheet, but this, now that we're on the top level tile, we can draw this. Now what this should do, that should be transparent and not black. So I'm hoping that that's transparent. So if we go ahead and export this as we normally do, we'll take a look at what that gives us. And it should give us a global.map, and that's how we're parsing all 9,000 tiles of that first one. but then it'll spit out a second layer. This is now the top level layer that we just drew, and it's almost all zeros. So as far as the ID of tiled it is concerned, it exports all transparency as 0. So we would have to do some kind of catch in there that says, like, you know, as long as the tile isn't 0, which there is our 287 for our door, that's the tile ID of the one door we drew in there. So it is like a big, gross, nasty table of these 9,000 frames, but we do have a way here where we're cycling through. So look, we have right here, global map.layers1.data. So if we do this similar thing where we say, well, now instead of copying over, we'll call it top level tiles, top level tile map gets an empty table. And then we're going to do the same thing for the key value in the pairs of global map dot layers, but at layers 2 this time, because we want that second layer dot data. So what's really sad is this is pulling 9,000. This is cycling through 9,000 tile IDs. Just for one specific thing we drew, right? Like just for the couple of pixels around the door frame here. But in the grand scheme of things, when we have a whole map full of a whole bunch of these tiles that need to be rendered over the player, or any dungeon entrance or house entrance or whatever, we can use this top level tile map to draw and export those tiles. So we'll put into our top level tile map at the index of the key, we'll give it that actual value. So it's taking the actual tile ID, like this 256 or whatever. Is it some kind of search? No. I mean, I'm still figuring out how I'm going to implement this, so I'm still kind of like talking it through. I haven't thought it through all that much. This is our first time even attempting to do a second layer of data from our tiled export. So when we export in tiled as global map, it saves it as a .lua, and we're extracting all that table and we're putting it into our own table so that it's just the table of values. It's not all of this nasty stuff, which is like, you know, all this stuff. It doesn't have any of this. It just has the .data values. So we go through, and this gets called once on initialization, and it goes through and it pulls all of our tiled map as well as our top level tiled map into our own specific table. So then we have to do something similar here, where not only do we need to insert a tiled ID into, let's see, how do we do this? Because this is cycling through the tile ID of the tiled map. So we'd want to do something similar where we see, and this is a little confusing too, because right now, if we look at what's in our map, like this map, let's say 1-1 for example, it is a 2D array and it holds a table of 80 IDs, but they're kind of naked in there. They're not assigned to any field, which we now would need to assign them into a ground level field or something, because we need to say, hey, go into the ground level field of these maps, and that's where you put all of these tile IDs, but then go into the top level tile map. Right here, we'd say, now go into the top level tile map and put the tile ID. See, this isn't exactly right, because the tile ID, this tile ID is cycling through 1 through 9,000. Okay, so that would be right. We can give it the same tile ID because on the first pass, we have the black tile where that door frame is. So on the first pass, well, let me think this through because this is... Yeah, because the value we're inserting is from this table. So we're saying, you know, this is where we would say, like, if the top level tile map at the tile ID is equal to 0, which is most of the case, all but one of the 9,000, go ahead and don't do anything. But if it does not equal 0, then go ahead and insert and overwrite whatever we just put in the tile map. So like, let's say the black ground level tile for that door frame is 75 tile ID. We would insert 75 into the map column here, and this is what we need. We would need to change this so that it's not inserting into the root table itself, but that it's inserting into like its own table. So we don't have this functionality just yet where we can insert into a specific field, but we really should, because now that we have more than one tile to render in a different way. Because like ideally we would say wherever we're rendering our map, which is probably in our scene here, it might be in the map actually. Yeah. Yeah, right here. This is where we're rendering the tile ID right now. Yeah, we have to change this if we want this to work. Yeah, I don't know. I'm thinking it might be. Hey, Magnetonics. I hope the pixel art stream went well. Yeah, Prosto, go ahead. I'm sure you have a ton of questions looking at this. Yeah, I'm thinking this is overkill for what we need. I think we can do something similar, like how we're inserting. You have grass and sturdy grass, second for fibers. Okay. Yeah, okay, yeah. No, yeah, I'll help you. Yeah, hit. You got grass and sturdy grass, second for fibers. Nice, Magnetonics, that's good. Yeah, it was coming together. Yeah, I was surprised at how quick you were whipping that stuff out. And then sturdy grass for sturdy fibers. Okay. Default grass, how'd you call it? I would literally just call it grass. There's like normal grass, which is just grass, then sturdy, and then, oh, but you're saying, I would just call it grass. Grass that isn't sturdy. Yeah, just grass. That's what I would do. I mean, you're looking at the guy who just named the animatable tables Autumn Flowers Anim Starter. Yeah, I think just grass. That's what I would call it, man. Oh, nice. That's one thing I learned in coding bootcamp, to make to make what are they called? Mock-ups, not mock-ups. What are they called? Wireframes for websites and stuff. And kind of visualizing what it looks like before you even put pen to paper and stuff, or code to screen, really helps. Yeah, bro, so no worries. Yeah, oh, that's an easy problem to fix. Yeah, I would just call it grass. We definitely, so we did used to just have that. Like we have, look at this, autumn flower, anim starter. That's what my names are looking at. So look, I had grass, and then I had tall grass. Then I had grass top left, top edge, top right, left edge. Grass faded, which is like the green, faded green color. So yeah, I had grass. Oh, and then I had grass island. Yeah, dude, I'm the guy to ask about your grass questions. I had a grass island, which was... That is the... Oops. If we look at this, grass island was this up here. That's a grass island. That's a faded grass. And that's a grass. And then tall grass was this, which doesn't quite look like tall grass, but yeah. Yeah, I'm a grass bro, for sure. Yeah, you can always leave grass comments. I mean, dude, yeah, just the pure number of grass constants I had in here. This is how we used to be rendering the game, is by these values. I'm so glad we are done with that. But yeah, so I'm thinking instead of doing this overkill method, I think we do something similar. Like all we need is kind of like how we're doing the insert animations, where we have a function that just renders whatever that quad is at a certain row and column. We can say, go ahead and add this top level tile into the top level tiles table for the given scene. And then after we render our normal tiles, we just go and say, by the way, go ahead and execute all the top level tile functions that we have, if there are any. And then whatever function in there would then render that specific quad or that specific tile ID at the given row and index for the current scene. So I think that's what we would want to do, instead of this secondary table, because out of 9,000 tiles, there's probably only going to be 20 entrances. So why don't we just, yeah, dude, I feel you, Magnetonics. Yeah, you get some sleep. Have a good night, dude. Thanks for hanging. Thanks for stopping in. Yeah, I'm actually gonna call it quits here soon too, because I'm really tired, and I had 2 big travel work days this past 2 days, so I'm a little fried. I do think that's the way we want to go about it. So I'm gonna go and undo what we did here in our... Yeah, we don't want to draw the top level tile map. But I think what we would want to do here is insert into the top level tiles a lot like this. We have to create a function that goes ahead and renders a given frame. I mean, hell, why not use the insert animation function? We've already got it. We've already got it. The only issue is, well, yeah, we've already got it. The only difference is we would not give it an anim spitter object. We'd just give it the tile ID that it is in there. So maybe we can just do it like we're doing it here, where we can say, once we've added... Okay, well, how would we check? because this has to be able to render on top of the player, which the insert anim just changes the map object, I believe. So we can't do it with this exact function. Yeah, we'd have to pull it outside of here. All right, sounds good, Whatnot. Thanks for hanging. Yeah, I'll probably end here soon, honestly, but it's always nice having you in here. Oh, and I've got to talk to you about your ideas you left on YouTube on comments, but I'll talk to you about those later. Yeah, okay. So ideally we make something very similar to this, but instead of saving the .id, the .id is what we're rendering for each tile on every scene. So we're saying, at least in this function, we're saying, hey, whatever that animatable dot frame is equal to, that's getting assigned into the ID that gets rendered. So that's why it's able to update the animation frames, because we're updating this anim spitter over time, so that changes, and then we just change, we just assign the animation itself, that dot frame, into the dot ID for the current map. So if we want to get that top level tile rendering stuff, it needs to exist outside of our scene view. Well, it just has to exist outside of the current map.tiles. We would have to have a current map.top level tiles or something, and then start have a similar thing where we're saying, hey, let's run this function. If it's not 0 and we're in the top level tiles table, go ahead and add that value into the given row and column, just like how we're inserting the animation into a given row and column, but not into the .animatables table, but into a .top level tiles table. And then in our scene, actually in our map, because map is where we're rendering the objects, this is where we're rendering it. So we render the map, and then, yeah, if we take a look at our scene renders the current map right here, and then it renders the player. So then we would need to add the top level tile renders here. And we would do something like what's happening in the current map, but it would probably be called, and the scene, it would probably be the self.currentMap.topLevel-tiles, which doesn't exist just yet, but we would say go ahead and render the top level tiles. So this isn't a class, so we would have to potentially make this a class. Well, yeah, that's a lot. We are not getting to that today, but we do have enough for the channel trailer, so that'll be fun. I might try to record that this weekend on Saturday. So I'll have to come up with a game plan about what we stream until that's done. Maybe we make some more pixel art, or maybe, let's see. Yeah, we've got new sprites. We are in the middle of this. We are doing the map objects the same way we used to. Oh gosh. And then we are inserting the animations correctly. So that was, we finished that in like the first 5 minutes today, which was nice. And then stenciling for log cabin we're working on. Yeah, we've got HUD items. That might be nice for the trailer, actually, so maybe we work on that in the next couple days before we record the trailer. So I do have a mock-up for what it's going to look like. I think it is... Maybe it's not in here. Oh, yeah. Something like this. I mean, I don't know about this bar down here, but we need a way to signify, you know, like in Link's Awakening, like which thing is equipped. So like we have elements. So like the blue element is your spellcast fire element or whatever, and then E or the other thing would probably be maybe like a tool. So like maybe it's like the Feathers Rock or whatever it's called in Link's Awakening, where you can jump with it equipped, or the Power Bracelet where you can lift stuff up, or the Flippers let you swim or whatever. So E might be like a wearable, and Q might be the element for spellcasting. So that's the kind of current game plan. So if we had, you know, we don't need the ability to change elements for the channel trailer, but if we had a little HUD of what the element was, like the little blue orb there on the HUD, plus maybe like pixel art for like a stand-in item, just so it looks a little more polished than it is, because it'll take us a while and we probably won't film a second trailer for a good 6 months or so. So yeah, once we figure out, yeah, I don't know if we'll figure out the tile rendering or the cabin stenciling, I'm calling it. I don't know if we'll figure that out before we finish the channel trailer, but we will continue to work on it. I'm gonna wrap it up because I'm hardly keeping my eyes open. But let's take a look at our code we did today. All we did was we exported a new tile layer, which we are not properly using just yet. And then we fixed our mod operator to give us the correct animatables. So yeah, today's more of a theory day than a actual get stuff done programming day, but that is okay. Probably even shouldn't really commit. This wasn't a lot to, well, yeah, I don't know. It's nice to have this, all the anims working now. So we say fixed modulo error on the animInserts. So that's nice. And then, thanks, Prosto. Yeah, you have a good day. I know your day just started, but I hope you have a good rest of the day. Let's see, we've got, oh, Big Boy Game. Wait, it's Big. I gotta refresh here. Okay, yeah, Big Boy Games was on the indie game dev team live, and then Quellis looks like he just ended. Let's see what, you know, we can raid Alley Cat. Thanks for watching, everybody. I try to stream every day. Some days are more exciting than others. Today was a little bit slower, but we did get a good feature finished from yesterday, so that's really nice. And we'll go raid Alley Cat for the rest of the evening. But thanks for watching. I hope you guys all have a great rest of the night, and stay safe out there and drink water, and have a good evening. See ya.